All right, I'd like to talk about basic vehicle tuning concepts right now because the internet is full of salesmen trying to sell you parts that you don't really need for your car. And so the first thing that you should always do if you're thinking about going out and tuning your car and making it faster is pick up a decent book on tuning your car. I like this one because it's very simply written and you just need a basic mathematical skill set to follow the language in it. You do not need to be an engineer to follow this and to make changes to your car and make it fast around a racetrack. So I want to talk about a very simple and very inexpensive change I made to this car that made it much faster around the racetrack. When I first tested this out, I was testing out the KWV3 suspension and I realized that the rates were too soft. I also noticed that the car exhibited excessive oversteer. This was from too much rear roll stiffness relative to the front. But overall, I noticed that the car had too little roll stiffness. And so the solution for me was to stiffen up the front end. Now, in the S2000 community, it's popular to stiffen up the front end with a front sway bar. This doesn't stiffen up the front end, but another thing that people do to tame the rear end is they bolt on a rear wing. Both the sway bar and the wing are expensive. The first thing that I would do is start with the springs. I call this tuning concept springs before wings. And so what I did was I went out and I bought a pair of 550 pound-inch springs. This is a 450 pound-inch spring. I went out and bought these on Summit Racing. It was $95 for the pair. Here is a track map with the old springs. Here is a track map with the new springs. Now what you notice, these are different configurations by the way, but what you notice is there's a lot more red with the new springs, and that means I was cornering at much higher speeds and I was generating more cornering grip. The red signifies that the car was cornering with a force over 1.25 Gs. And there's no aero on this car. That's pretty impressive. So this is very basic. Making changes to your roll stiffness is basic, but it's somehow getting forgotten with all of this internet sales stuff. And so it's always important to go back to basics, get off the internet and pick up a textbook and read about how people have been doing this in the past, because tuning a car is really pretty basic. So I'm going to put up one lap from that day. That is it for now. Thank you for watching. Make sure that you enjoy your car.